everyone, it's Melanie from Mel's Inky Fingers, and I'm here to share this super cute Easter card with you, created with the Easter basket stamp and die set. Now, this stamp and die set can be found in the January to April mini catalog, and it can be found on page, let me share that with you, Easter basket 35. So on page 35, you can find it in our January, April mini catalog, and it's shown with the Easter Joy designer series paper, as well as pleasant patterns and the gingham ribbon and these really cute little Easter egg and dot embellishments. So this project is going to feature an embossed background and then this focal point here from this die cut, and we're just going to put this sweet little bunny on the front. This card comes together really fast, and if you are a subscriber to my Creatively Inked kit, you're actually going to receive one of these completed in your kit this month. So let's take a look at what you need to create this project. So you're going to want a piece of basic white, thick basic white cardstock, and this happens to be cut 4 1/4 by 11. I used 8 1/2 by 5 1/2 on the cards I made. So either one works. I didn't realize I grabbed a top fold card instead of a side fold. Sorry about that. Then you are going to want the third largest branching out die cut. This is an online only die set that you can find, and we're going to put that on the front. You're also going to want a piece of basic white cut 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, and I embossed this with the all in a row embossing folder. That's also from the mini catalog here, and it's here in the back. Let's see if I can remember where it is. Here it is. So all in a row. It's on page 64. It's really cool. I really like the patterns with this stamp and die set that we're using. So that's 4 by 5 1/4, and that's going to layer like this. All right, so that's our background. Then you're going to want a piece of basic white cardstock, and I stamped the bunny and an egg using Memento black ink, and I stamped this already, so I had a little extra time to dry because we're going to color it with some Stampin' Blends. This is the only ink pad that you need for this, because the rest is going to be done with some Stampin' Blends markers. So I have the light petal pink, I have the dark lemon lolly, the light bubble bath, and the light pool party, and I'm going to color the egg and the bunny with that. Now I'm also going to stamp a bunny on the inside directly to the card, so I'm going to use my bubble bath Stampin' Right marker, and we'll talk about why I'm doing that as we create this card together. Then I have 3 1/4-inch strips that are 2 3/4 inches long of the pink shimmer pastel shimmer paper. You can see how pretty that is. And then, believe it or not, after making all those cards I needed to make for my Creatively Inked kits, I had one little bow left. This is the 1/8 inch bubble bath faux linen trim that is from the January to April mini catalog as well. So let's get started making this project. Let's start by doing a little bit of coloring. So I'm just going to color the bunny and the egg, and I'm going to keep it really simple. I'm going to take my bubble bath, the bullet end of my bubble bath Stampin' Blends, and I'm just going to color the inside of the ears and the nose. That's it. And then for the little egg, I'm going to leave this very top part white, and I'm going to do the band and the bottom in bubble bath. Then I'm going to, again, sticking with that bullet tip, because these are tiny little spots, I'm going to color those points down, and then I'm going to use my light pool party and do the points that go up. And that is it. That's it for the extra pieces. All right. So we'll set that. I'm going to die cut those. So now let's pull this die cut out, and we're going to take our Memento Black ink and we're going to stamp this flower here, this cute little tulip. And I'm going to stamp it in the Memento ink, and I'm going to do one there and one kind of here coming out of this corner. And then I'm going to take my stamp, and this is one of the things I love about photopolymer stamps, and I'm going to pick it up and push it back down. I may have to, if it doesn't stick to your block rule, sometimes you have to take it and rinse it with water, and it helps, brings all that stick back. So I'm going to bend the stem, if you can see that there, and then I'm going to stamp this like that. Isn't that cute? So don't be afraid to take your photopolymer stamps and curve them so that you can create some interest or maybe a different shape on your project. All right, and then while that dries, I'm going to stamp the sentiment. So we have this Happy Easter sentiment here. You could also do Hello Spring up here, which would be really cute. Maybe I will do that, the Hello Spring up here. It'll be kind of tiny, but I think it'll look really cute. And then you can see it in a couple different ways here. So let's take our little tiny sentiment, and we're going to stamp that right here. Hopefully that's straight. I kind of like that up there. And that is all of our stamping that we have. So now I just want to give these flowers just a tiny bit of time to dry so that they don't, when you put the coloring in with your Stampin' Blends, I don't want the black to bleed. So I always make sure I give it plenty of time to dry. So I'm going to put this embossed layer on our card base. And then I'm going to come into the inside and do a little bit of stamping in there. So I'm going to take the other bunny. So we have this bunny on the front, and I'm going to put this little guy on the inside. So let's take our Memento ink and ink up this little bunny. And we'll stamp him kind of here. And since I put the Hello Spring on the front, I'm just going to do the bunny on the inside. And this is where the Stampin' Right marker comes in. So if you colored his ears with the Stampin' Blends, you can see how the color bleeds through the paper. It is supposed to bleed through the paper. That's what you want it to do. That's what gives it the smooth color once it dries. I don't want that. So I'm going to use my Stampin' Right marker because that's not going to bleed through to the backside of my paper. So you can see I have a nice clean white back, and that's the difference between the two markers. They're for different uses. All right, so now let's bring our flowers in. Hopefully they're dried enough. I'm going to color one with petal pink, one bubble bath, and one lemon lolly. So let's color. We'll do this one petal pink. Oh, you know what? I forgot to grab a green for the stems. Oh, what a bummer. I'm going to run in and get that real quick here. You could do Shy Shamrock, you could do Summer Splash, you could do any of your greens you could use to color those stems. I think I'm going to grab my Soft Sea Foam blend. So just one moment. I'm going to run really quick. So I don't record my videos where all my supplies are. So if I forget something, it's kind of a bummer because I have to dash into the other room and grab it. So I'm coloring the leaves and the stems with a dark soft sea foam. And I'm not doing any fancy shading or anything on any of this coloring. Just coloring. Now, if you want the color a little darker, you can go over it a second time because the color will build on itself. But I like that. Isn't that cute? It's really soft. All right, and now we're going to add that here, but first we're going to add some colored strips to the side. So let's take 2 of these little 1/4 inch strips. And I'm going to put the thinnest little line of liquid glue. You don't want to put it over those little detail cuts in the die because you don't want it to ooze through. But I'm just going to overlap these enough so that they're adhered in place. Whoops, I caught that on my finger. And then you can flip it over and you can just make sure it's even. That liquid glue will just give you the little bit of time to make sure you have them right where you want them to be. I'm going to push that in a little bit. There we go. And then once you're happy, you can put some Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of this and put it on your card front. Easy peasy. All right, so we're just going to center this. See how that the tiniest little bit of color helps that whole focal point just kind of pop, even though you have this texture here and this is flat. I think it really just adds a nice touch. All right, so now let's bring these back in. We're going to die cut these. So I'm going to pull out my bunny, the bunny and the little egg. They both have coordinating dies. Look how big this die set is. This die set is awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So I'm going to put the little bunny on there, the egg, and I'm going to die cut this. Okay. I fumbled my plates and had to reposition it, so sorry it took a little extra longer. Okay, so we can put these back and that'll go back in the package. So now let's bring this back in. Now I'm going to adhere this little bunny right here to the front on top of the flowers, and I'm going to put him in place with a couple of dimensionals. And you can choose where you want the little bunny. You want those little flowers to show from the back. And then the egg can go either here or on this side, wherever you prefer. I think I'm going to put it over there. Put a dimensional right on the card front there. And then drop this little egg down. How cute is that? All right, and then last but not least, we're just going to add a little bow and some gems. So I'm going to put this little bow up by this sentiment. That'll help draw a little extra attention to it. So I like to use half of a mini glue dot to put tiny little bows like twine, the thin 1/8 inch ribbon, anything that's really fine. And then I take this glue dot that I cut in half and then I fold it in half, and then it stays behind your knot. So as you're sliding it in and out of your envelope, you don't have to worry about it getting caught and stuck in there. All right, and then last but not least, I'm going to use some of these gems on the front. So these are the Strawberry Slush and Pretty in Pink gems. And I use these a lot. These are on the last chance list. So if you like pink, these are for you because they come in all different color or sizes and colors. In here, you've got a couple different sizes, and you have dark pink, light, well, you have Pretty in Pink, Strawberry Slush, and then you have the white that has the gold flecks in it. And I don't think I like that up there. Let's move these down here. There we go. I like that better. So now let's go back to the inside. We stamped that little bunny, and we have our third little 1/4 inch strip of Pretty Peacock, or of Bubble Bath shimmer paper. So I'm just going to put a tiny little bit of liquid glue, and then we can put that there. I'm going to trim this off. And then the piece that I trimmed off, I'm just going to drop on the other side. There we go. So now you have that cute little bit of color on the inside. So here you go. So you have a couple different sentiment options. You have one egg here, one egg on the outside. You can make different color variations. You can use whatever little gems you have, use whatever little ribbons you have, and you can change up your little flower colors if you want. So I hope you enjoyed seeing the Easter basket bundle used. The stamp set and coordinating dies, super fun. You have this awesome basket that I didn't use on this project, but the bunnies are so cute. So I hope you enjoyed this project, and I hope you give it a try. Thanks for watching.